Mills for
Test.
handing our licenses. Yeah, so Megan and Sally are from Susie. It was an interesting year.
I bet.
Okay. As you were Good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and call the Brawley City Council Brawley Community Redevelopment Agency meeting to order this evening, Tuesday, July the 4th, 2014. And can we have the roll call, please?
The minutes will reflect all council members present.
Okay, we're going to have the invocation by Pastor Richard Rodriguez from House of Bread Ministries and the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilmember Mr. Sam Couchman.
Father in heaven, we thank you, Lord God, for your love, your grace, your mercy. We thank you for this day, Lord God. I thank you for these people, Lord. For your word declares that all authority has been established by you. Lord, we seek your wisdom at this time, Lord God. Be with them in a special way, Lord God. In the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor.
Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and before I move on to the next item, I do want to thank our fire chief, Mr. Chuck Peraza, and Mrs. Marjo Mello for sitting in for our city manager while she takes some well-deserved vacation. So I want to thank you guys very much for doing that. And then the next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. And before we do that, I need to add one emergency item. And what I would like to do is add that item right at the top of the regular business. We've got one emergency item added, and it's for our air conditioning system over at the Lions Center. So if I can have the approval of the agenda, adding that emergency item.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Next item on the agenda is the public appearance and comments, and this is the time for the public to address the council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter's jurisdiction of the city council. The mayor will recognize you, and when you come to the microphone, please state your name for the record. You're not allowed to make personal attacks on individuals or make comments which are slanderous or which may invade an individual's personal privacy. And I ask that you please direct your questions and comments to the city council.
Right?
Yes, that's it.
And also to you, good evening. My name is Rosemary Wood. I am North County Coalition for the Arts Executive Director, and we're starting to know. Yes, thank you. I am in Toastmasters to learn how to speak in public now. So thank you. We're here to introduce to you and our winner for the contest, winner for the Hinojosa Park mural project. Just to stipulate that the contest was open up to anyone that could give us a rendering, a concept, and an idea to honor our 3 baseball homegrown heroes at the Hinojosa Park. And there's 5 entities that are getting together to do this project. Mind you, I will say to you that the winner is strictly just the art concept part of it. We still need to, there's still work to be done and have more meetings so that we can bring you an actual rendering that we feel would benefit Hinojosa Park behind the, was it the handball? Ball, yes. So this is just strictly a contest winner. But we're so excited to introduce to you, and Jason probably has a few words to... Oh, nope, we have Yes. I'm excited to introduce you. We all are, and his name is Felix Daniel Lopez. Over at IVC, and he submitted a rendering that we all think might have a lot of great potential. He could probably explain it better.
It's according to the rules of the contest, they had to do the three faithful superstars that were born here in Brawley, California, and they were Ruby De Añez, which is left, this guy, Sergio Romo, which is center, and Sid Monte, which is right. Actually, it's just right.
And the cash prize was $250. So we're excited.
Congratulations.
For your books? For your IBC books? That doesn't sound convincing.
Right.
Oh, good.
So thank you so much for doing that. And thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, son.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
Excellent.
All right. That was good.
Not even.
Not even.
I know.
Is there anyone else from the public like to come up?
Quicker.
Okay, and then seeing none, we're going to move on to the next item, and we have a award for one of our really good employees here this evening, and I'll let the chief take over from there.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, Fire Chief,
Acting City Council.
Acting City Manager.
Acting like a city.
I have the distinct honor of recognizing an individual. This was actually going to be slated for 2 weeks from now, but based on his actual work day, his last work day will be the 7th. His actual last day with the city is the 31st. So since we would not be getting together prior to that, it seemed fitting that this would be the time. Severo Torres, known to all of us as Duke.
Yes.
Duke has been with the Brawley Police Department for 23 years. I first come to know Duke about 6 years ago when I worked at the Narcotic Task Force, and I worked side by side with Duke for a solid year. And I will tell you that I was extremely impressed, and I only hope that I am able to do what he is able to do when I'm, well, just a couple more years, but
Just a couple more years.
So I just thought it would be a good tribute if the mayor could go ahead and present a plaque. We are going to have a very formal, military-style end of duty ceremony that we're learning right now.
Okay.
And that will be on the 31st at 8 o'clock in the morning at the police department parking lot from about 8 to 8:30 for it's like 110.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but it's absolutely worth it to us to honor a man like this who's given this service to the community. And I'd like to give applause for Duke Torres.
And what I have here says, presented to Mr. Torres in grateful appreciation for your 23 years of outstanding, dedicated service to the citizens of the city of Brawley, 2014.
Take that out.
Take some pictures.
Take it out of the
Take it out of that
Take
plastic.
it out. Mr.
Mayor.
Mayor, you want to?
John,
Take it out of the back.
Take it out of the plastic. Take it out of the plastic. That'd be great. It'll look a lot better on the pictures.
Smile.
Well, that's a pretty loud voice. I've been doing this for an awful lot of years. City Council, Mr. Mayor, excuse me for giving you my back. And you all are my friends because you're also my community, you're my family. I've been here for about 23 years. Served as best as I know how. I'm a military man, so I do it that way. If you ever need anything, my word is my bond. I will be there for you in the
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mr. Torres. And the next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. And do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Okay, we're going to move right on along to the next item on the agenda under regular business, and that is the emergency item that we as a council received today.
So, Mr. Mayor, what you have in front of you and council members is a emergency authorization for the purchase of two 15-ton AC units for the Lions Center. Currently, there are 2 units that are down, and of course, you know, summer day camp started today, and there was events leading up to it as well. So we have placed this in front of you as an emergency action. And Mr. Rubio here will give you the department report on it.
Thank you. Mayor Campbell, members of City Council and City staff. Yeah, we've got some pretty serious issues in regards to our air conditioners at the Lions Center gym. The problem started last week. We thought we were on it. Around Tuesday of last week, it was reported to us that 2 units were giving us trouble. So we called our usual repair contractor. He came in, assessed the situation for us, and reported that 1 unit did have a burnt compressor. The unit grounded out, burnt the compressor and the motor, and it definitely needed to be replaced. Now, we go through this almost every summer, and the timing couldn't have been worse. Usually what we luck out, the unit will go out towards the end of summer or right at the start of summer. This time around, we were dealing with 2 units that were failing on us last week. So our contractor comes in, he lets us know 1 unit is definitely gone. Got to replace it. Replace the compressor. Okay, we've done it in the past. We were made plans to move forward with it. The second unit appeared to be one that can be repaired with just a matter of changing over the fan motor and a capacitor and a circuit breaker. So that was Tuesday. Come Tuesday afternoon, parts were ordered. Everything was lined up for repair of the 1 unit on Wednesday. Well, Wednesday comes along. Different issues arise with the unit we thought was going to be easy to repair. Not only is it not responding to the new parts, it's running for a bit and then shutting down. Okay, that was Wednesday. We had assurances by our contractor that he would get the unit running by Thursday, and the new compressor for the second unit would be in on Thursday or Friday. Okay, so we're still not panicked. We know summer day camp is starting on Tuesday. We went along with his assessment of the repairs that they could be done and accomplished in a timely manner before summer day camp. Well, Thursday rolls around. We can't get hold of our contractor. Apparently, we find out he took off for the weekend to get married. He did leave a voicemail to contact his other 2 technicians, and the technicians would follow up with the work and get at least the 1 unit that we felt would be an easy repair going. Well, the technicians never answered our calls. So we brought in a second contractor to come in and see if we can get that 1 unit going. Now, this is already Thursday. So the report from the second contractor was that we had a pretty big mess up there. I guess our initial contractor was coming in, changing capacitors, changing relays. He put in a new motor where one wasn't necessary in the unit that we knew already had the bad compressor. We weren't planning on putting any work into it, but he still went ahead and stuck a new fan motor in it. His thinking was, well, maybe with a new fan motor, it'll override issues with the compressor and at least, get us through the summer. Well, that didn't occur. So we lost an entire week. We lost last week hoping that we could get at least 1 unit running, which would give us 3 units up on the roof, and 3 units worked fairly well. I mean, we limped through last summer on just 3 units, and I'll explain that further. So Monday rolls around. We're waiting on the second contractor to come in. He fails to come in the morning. So we're making phone calls by then. We're starting to contact other people to come in and give us an assessment as to what's going on. Because summer day camp starts the next day, Tuesday. It's today. We get another company out there because by then we figure this is serious. We got to get something done. Since we know we're going to replace a compressor, let's get another company in, give us another price. And by then, when that third contractor came in, made his assessment, it was flat out, hey, you got 2 bad units up there. The one has to be changed out completely, which we already knew. The second one that we thought would be an easy repair, he says, I can order parts for it. These units are pretty old. Parts are hard to come by. He says, I have a connection. I can get some parts in, get them installed. I'll probably get it going for you Tuesday morning, this morning. So when I arrived for work this morning, he's there. He's coming off his ladder. I'm waiting there for him. How do things look? He goes, we got issues. Apparently the unit will run for half an hour, but then it shuts down. And during that last 15 or 20 minutes of running, it's drawing a lot of power, drawing a lot of power to keep going, and that's what was causing the circuit breaker to trip. As it turns out, that compressor in the second unit that we thought was going to be an easy repair was already starting to fail. Now the background on that unit, Sierra Air, put a new compressor in it in June of 2013, just last summer. That compressor lasted till August of 2013 before it burned out. Now, we had warranty issues with the company. It took from August 2013 to May of 2014 to get that compressor replaced. So we made it through August, September, October, got through the worst part of summer with 3 functioning units. And we got that last compressor changed out in May. Well, that's the unit that started to fail this past week. So we were looking at 3 compressors that didn't even make it a month, maybe a month and a half. So what he stated was something internally is going on with this unit that is causing those compressors to fail. Now, keep in mind, those units are old. What I've been told, not by just one contractor, but by several contractors, is that the parts available out on the market right now, they're not 100% compatible with our older units. So I don't like using the word, but they're jerry-rigging a new compressor into an old unit, and it's obvious by what we're experiencing that this is not working out. So our situation is we got 2 units up there with 2 burnt compressors with a pretty bad history of burning compressors out, especially when they're working hard. So thanks to Chief Peraza and Alma, they put the emergency resolution you see before you tonight. We garnered 3 quotes for repair for replacement. I take that back. Replacement of 2 of the units. And our lowest quote is from Vic's Air Conditioning. That quote for 2 units is $26,875. In communications with him, he says if he gets the okay, he can start making phone calls tomorrow. And with his contacts, he said, I can get 2 units here within 2 weeks. He says that's the longest, maybe sooner. He goes, I'm giving you the longest period it would take. Mm-hmm. So not to get your hopes up, he didn't want to say I could get it in a week or whatever. The longest it would take me would probably be 2 weeks. So in the meantime, we went ahead and rented 2 of the big industrial cooler fans from Elms Equipment. Mm-hmm. got them into the Lions Center this afternoon. The highest. What
Did Ryan provide a discount on that?
I hope not.
I hope so.
I hope so. So the hottest it got in the Lions Center gym was 81 degrees. That was on the south side of the gym where our two bad units usually cool. That was 81 degrees on the south side and 86 degrees over on the north side where the units are running. Oh, wait a minute. 81 on the south side and 79 on the north side. So not that big of a difference. But then once we got the fans going, now this is without hooking up the water connections. You can hook up water to them, but being that they got there kind of late, we didn't want to rush it. We didn't want to have water running all over the floor of the gym. So we're first thing tomorrow morning, we're going to run and connect all the plumbing to those big coolers, and it should make a difference. I've been around where they use those units, and they cool off pretty well. We'll assess the situation with 2 units running. If need be, we'll get more. Safety for our kids is a factor, but we were in and out of the gym, checking on the kids, checking on our workers, and kids are kids. I mean, if you walked in and weren't aware that the ACs weren't working, I mean, they were still at it. They were still going at it hard. We do provide, since last year, we provide ice water, fruit-flavored ice water for them. So we kept 2 containers full at all times. Our day camp coordinator, Rachel Zapata, said, you know, Richard, they're coming up. They're pretty much drinking a little bit more water than usual, but nothing real noticeable. Mm-hmm. So she says they are taking more breaks. They're stopping all activities, having everybody sit down, cool down a little bit, and then go back at it. So the situation inside the gym with our kids, it's not at a critical level. Mm-hmm. And I believe that with the 2 fans we're going to have in there, I think we're going to be okay. But
I would caution you, though, if you haven't connected the water to the fans, you probably shouldn't, because you're going to reintroduce humidity, and the AC is taking it out, so it's kind of defeating the purpose of the cooling. I've done it before.
You've done it before?
Yeah,
okay.
And so
okay.
Once you took the water out, it cools a whole lot better. Yeah, because if you have units that are cooling, all you're doing really is circulating that cool air. Mm-hmm, Otherwise, you're introducing humidity into it.
Humidity
and make it worse. Anyway, just food for thought. So.
Okay. Yeah, we'll take that into consideration. So that's where we're at, Council.
Go ahead. I guess I have some questions.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the bids, and they came from various companies. My question, I guess, is 2 weeks seems like a long time to get a unit.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the size of, it looks like.
That's the issue.
They're 15 tons.
Good point. They're 15-ton units.
For a home unit, you're not going to wait 2 weeks.
Right.
There's no way.
Right.
I mean, but I guess for these commercial-type units, you're going to wait a little longer. I don't know if that's a reasonable amount of time or whether that's not a reasonable amount of time, because I've never purchased a commercial unit. So do you feel that's a reasonable time? Is that what everybody's telling you that made the bids, or is there, or do they have different time frames based upon those bids?
Everybody offered the same consistent time frame. I mean, one estimated a 4-week wait.
Okay.
So, and he was one of our higher.
Okay, and I'm not familiar enough with it to know.
Even residential units that are a little bit larger, that are not typically in stock, it's about 2 weeks.
It's a bad time of year, too.
Yes, it is.
Repurchasing them, and everybody's putting them in.
He said the issue is we got to get our name out there to these suppliers, because a lot of it, they have items in their warehouses, but this time of year, other contractors are coming in and just pulling parts and products right out of the warehouse. So he says the sooner we get in, the sooner we can get our name on there, on those units, and get them down here.
Richard, do we have contractors that we deal with, I mean, that we would have on an on-call basis?
Unfortunately, we don't, Mayor. We do not. That is an issue we've discussed in the past. It seems like all departments are independent of one another. I mean, we're calling whoever's available instead of dealing with one company. So,
And is it possible for us? I mean, we need to move forward and take care of this. We're going to do that tonight, but is it possible to recover some of the warranty costs on what has already happened? I mean, because it sounds like to me some of the work that was done from the previous contract.
right. We've discussed that issue with him, Mayor, and he agreed he would take all his parts that he purchased and installed and didn't work for us. He would take them back and not charge us for them. And essentially what we would end up paying the guy is for his labor.
I guess my other concern is if you operate those 2 units within that Lion Center and you have the 2 units operating for 2 weeks, is that going to put a lot of strain on those 2 units, and are you going to run into problems with those other 2 units as it goes along?
Yeah, how old are they?
I mean, if they're old units, what's going to happen, at least in my mind, what's going to happen is those 2 units are going to be working so much harder that I'm not sure they're going to hold
They
up
will.
to the strain.
They will be working harder. And that was the reason for bringing in those fans to kind of help cool things off.
But I'm still not sure we won't blow other units before we're done.
You could.
I commend you guys for your work, but you close the Lion Center and you got the kids not there and there's women and Duma not there. You're going to have a problem.
Yeah, well, we got that.
We've heard it. We've heard it already. Yeah.
I guess another question is, are the other 2 units as old as these 2? And are we going to begin to have problems with those?
They're not a whole lot newer, but they are newer. And I believe what's happening is the 2 units on the south end of the building just showing their age. Like I mentioned before, parts are hard to acquire for them, and that's why we're dealing with this issue.
Is there any other questions from council?
I would just, and thank you, Director Rubio. That was, I think, a good, informative report and a lot of work done in a short period of time. I just want to make a comment if our acting city manager can make a note for our city manager maybe when she returns. I would consider, you just said our departments are not talking to each other. Air conditioning is extremely important to our public facilities. So why don't we look into potentially having a source that first off performs maintenance on an annual basis. I think that's worth its investment. Number 2, we'll have a good assessment of what's weak. We have something like that?
No, we don't have it. We talked about it already.
Okay,
RFP going out.
I would move
forward
with something like that, because even for a household nowadays, you can have even a monthly subscription where they come in and they service your air conditioning annually, and I know there's various vendors that might do that.
Quarterly, just take a peek at them to see if they're functioning.
Absolutely, because anytime you perform anything like this under the auspice of an emergency, you're paying 30% more.
Oh, yeah.
And also, have the other 2 been checked? Have they?
Oh, yeah. They were serviced back in April, May. And all 4 of them were serviced, yeah. Well, actually, all 8. We have 8 units on the Lion Center building.
Now, because they're so big and they work quite a bit. I mean, the Lion Center is used constantly. You might even say 24/7. Is that something that they come in and check every 3 months or every month?
We do our routine maintenance, changing filters and turning down thermostats when not in use. We're doing what we can. We're doing what we can to, help them along, because being older units, they do require that extra attention, and I think we've been giving them that extra attention.
And then you talked about the breaker. Is the breaker something that you're looking at? Maybe it needs to be a bigger box or more?
Well, the issue there was that unit that had burned out 2 compressors already.
Right.
In order to It's trying to keep working, and as it tries to keep working, it's just drawing more energy.
So that is the only reason that breaker would go
right, and that breaker was just doing its job. It was just turning off before more damage was incurred because of the higher energy amperes being pulled by that unit.
Okay.
You want to look into the routine maintenance side. What I would also like additionally to occur, if we can do this, and we'll look at this, is that we analyze all the air conditioning units at the city and see how long they've been in place and how many years, how old they are, and if we need to start like a procedure or a routine or a plan where that we replace those periodically as they start to give us trouble and require more and more repairs. Maybe we want to replace one or two 1 year, one or two the next year, and move forward so that we have a plan for that. Maybe look at. I think we lost it at the library the other. Something that happened to the library one, and I think we're seeing things with this one. If there's some real old units, maybe we should routinely attempt to replace those in any given year, rather than be faced with replacing 5, 6 units. We could replace maybe 1 or 2 units a year and move on forward. And so if we could look into something, I don't know whether that'll work or not, but it's something we could look at.
Mr. Mayor, if it sounds like we're going to be moving forward, I would like to make a motion to approve the proposal from Vic's Air Conditioning. Is that the
Yes.
For $26,875 for the replacement of the units?
Yeah, there's a
Second.
Discussion.
Okay, the motion is to replace 2 brand-new units with a 5-year warranty on the compressor and 1 year on parts and labor from Vic's.
Just a question before we make the vote. Have you looked at each of these providers, and are you pretty assured they can do this work?
Oh,
and
yes.
that they have a history and an experience in doing all of this work? Because, you can get an air conditioner repairman that mainly does household-type units, and maybe they won't be as good with the industrial.
Yeah.
So.
A lot. We contacted up to 12 contractors to come in, and a lot of them would refuse the work because they don't work with units that big.
Yeah, VIX does.
That's all. That's
Yes,
all.
absolutely.
That's all I want to know. Okay.
Chief Crankshaw had something to add.
Oh, yes.
Well, it was along the lines of the monthly or yearly maintenance on that. At the police department, we have 6 air conditioners just on the main building, not the EOC. 4 of them are very large, and then 2 smaller ones. We contract with Desert Air, and we pay $4,400 a year. And what we get out of that is a super tune-up in April for each one, which I think runs somewhere around $600, and it's a complete tune-up on every single air conditioner, and then it's cheaper for the smaller ones. Plus, you get 10 months a year that they come out and they check all the system once a month. We are also facing a grounded where our compressor went out, and we just got a quote in from them in regards for $2,800 to fix it for just one of our smaller ones. So we do have something in place. I do agree that it would be probably from a city entity to get on the same page and have someone service all of our, whoever that may be. But we do have at least a blueprint of what that might look like if you'd like to see it later on as we move forward.
But that's a good idea. Yeah, no problem.
I know we're going to vote. Just to that point, I think you get a better price on parts and all that too when you have sole source.
So very good, very good. Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, the resolution that you're going to vote on would authorize the city manager or her designee to get the work done. I see that you've authorized a certain price, but do we know that this price includes prevailing wage and a payment bond? Both of those things are required by law. With construction contracts, we typically get a performance bond, but that's not required by law. So I think the bare bones would be the payment bond and, of course, prevailing wage.
For the 26 for this amount?
Right.
Yes.
Even though it's a repair, would it be considered a repair, an emergency repair?
Well, I understand what we're talking about is replacement.
The replacement of the unit. So we would need to get we would need to go out to bid on this item? Is that what?
No.
You've already got your.
We did.
Okay.
You're declaring an emergency. Based on, if you look at the recitals in the resolution.
But with respect to the change in the potentially the proposal cost, if would we need to just trying to see if we can work around that without having to meet again?
The way it's drafted now, it authorizes the city manager's
The city manager
to get
check
the work done.
Right.
Then I'll retract my motion
Right.
And just
adopt the resolution.
right.
as it
Okay.
stands, yes.
Okay.
I'll retract my motion that I made previously. The second needs to be
And I
retracted.
will retract my
Yes.
second.
Now, And in that circumstance, at your next meeting, there'll be a report from staff with respect to where we ended up, number one, and number two, whether or not the emergency continues or can be terminated.
Okay. Then I will make, Mr. Mayor, I will make a motion to approve the resolution of the City Council, City of Brawley, California, declaring an emergency and authorizing the city manager or her designee to take such action as may be necessary in response thereto.
And I second.
There's a motion and a second to approve resolution number 2014. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is item number 4A. Discuss and potential action to authorize agreement with AE Consulting Incorporated in the amount of $214,960 to provide professional engineering services for preparation of plans, specifications, cost estimates, construction management, and inspection services for the Brawley Municipal Airport Seal Airfield Pavement Project.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Council members. Yasmin Arellano, Public Works Director. The City Council selected AE Consulting, Inc. at the June 17th meeting to provide professional engineer services for the Brawley Municipal Airport. The scope of work for this particular contract that AE Inc. will be providing consists of professional engineering services for the preparation of plans, specifications, cost estimate, construction management, and construction inspection services for a new Federal Aviation Administration funded project at the airport. The scope of project consists of the crack filling and sealing and striping, also shoulder backing of the runway at the airport, and also involves some rehabilitation for the taxiway. It will be sealing and striping for the taxiway and the transient apron. The FAA will reimburse the city at a 90% rate. This is a $1.4 million grant with an approximate $140,000 local match. It has been included in the budget for fiscal year 14-15, and approval is recommended tonight.
The $140,000 is a total local match for the city, though, right?
Yes, sir. The grant is approximately is 1.4 million. Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we approve this. Okay.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you very much.
Jasmine. Okay, the next item on the agenda is item 4B, discuss and potential action regarding resolution number 2014, resolution of City Council of the City of Brawley, California, granting a CDBG program income small business loan in the amount of $60,000 to Desert Vista Development Company, LLC, Inferno 800.
Good evening, Mayor Campbell and City Council members. On page 72 of your agenda is a staff report regarding a program income business loan for a startup business, a restaurant that is proposed in the downtown area. The loan is for $60,000, and it is from the program income fund for Desert Vista Development Company, doing business as Inferno 800 Degrees. The loan will be used to buy furniture, buy equipment, and a computer system for a new restaurant. The restaurant will provide at least 2 full-time jobs for the city, and the loan application has gone through CDBG state representatives. It has been approved to go forward. It's a loan of 10 years at the interest of 3.25, and there are liens and securities for the loan. We are here to recommend that you adopt the resolution on page 73 that would allow us to go forward and make the loan as prescribed in the staff report and in the resolution itself.
Is there any questions from council?
Mine's just a comment. Mr. Soto, thank you for your efforts on this. I know this is, of the many items that you have to tackle on a daily basis, has been a big project, something that I think...
We had to chase this one.
The council was...
HCD was And they were in agreement. They just took a long time.
Yeah.
They took a long time, and I think a lot of it is you've been dealing with the customer and the client. But I want to make also the comment, even though it's mentioned in here, the securities and really the credit worthiness of the loan. I'm very comfortable with how this was constructed. I know there's been a history where we haven't always been successful on these type of loan programs, but we definitely I think in any kind of loan situation, do the risks and kind of the rewards or what could come out of it. I think we're pretty excited about this project, but I think most important, it's a good business decision secured with some real property. So I think
yes, sir. And the security will include not only the assets purchased by the loan, but the property itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Francisco, I would like to thank you and staff as well. I know it was a long 5 to 6 months working on this, and especially over the past probably 60 days, 45 to 60 days, it's been a real challenge. But I'm excited about this business, and it's going to help revitalize our downtown a little bit, and I hope this is the start of several others wanting to open up and get things rolling. So, again, thank you for your efforts, and I'm just glad things are going to work out.
Yeah.
Sam?
I'm fine with it. Thank you very much for all your work.
Yeah. Francisco, through you and your staff, thank you. And is there a motion to approve item 4B?
I would like to go ahead and make a motion to approve this resolution number 2014.
Second on that?
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Francisco.
Thank you, Frank.
Mr. Babb, I'm sure we'll thank you as well. So.
Okay, next item on the agenda is 4C, discuss and potential action regarding Brawley City Council agenda distribution schedule.
I'd like to say that we got our agendas on Thursday last week, and I want to thank Elma and Rosanna and the rest of the crew that were able to get it to us. I think for not just for myself and the rest of my city council members, but for the city itself, I think an extra day looking over the agenda and trying to study it and getting information, I think we need this extra day to be given to us. And I thank the staff for agreeing to give it to us on Thursday. So that is my...
So the discussion is to try to get the agenda issued each meeting by Thursday of the meeting of the week before.
Okay.
I understand that there's maybe some need to do that. However, this agenda, to me, was not a very long agenda, so it was a much easier, I think, and there were not a lot of issues as we sometimes have on our agendas. So I think asking them to get every agenda out on Thursday probably isn't going to happen. I think we need to be aware of that. I've been here now going on 5 years. I do not have a problem with the Friday, receiving the agenda on Friday, hopefully Friday morning if possible. I don't have a problem with getting it. That gives me Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and most of the day Tuesday to review that agenda, and I don't have a problem with those types of timelines. I mean, but I'm retired to a certain extent, and I don't have some of the pressures that some of you have that work full-time. But as far as I'm concerned, Friday, Thursday, it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference to me. I have plenty of time to look at it. Well, so the only thing I'm saying, and I don't know how it affects other people, is I would not require that they have it on Thursday. That's all I'm saying.
Well, one thing I forgot to mention was that we're also asking that our staff stay over on, I've seen them here on Friday evenings, to where they would like to take off to San Diego or somewhere, at least by 5 o'clock when they get off, but sometimes they're here till 10 o'clock. So I think they also would be happy in the end to see that this agenda does go out on Thursday.
Yeah, I respect Councilwoman Noriega's request, and I think looking at the agenda, if staff need to look at it and notify council of some items that need to be moved to the next agenda to get the agenda out by Thursday, and I think we should be able to accomplish that. I mean, I think it's a fair request. So.
I can see both sides, certainly. I agree that, Friday is the time we have been delivered the agenda. It is sometimes very packed, and it may put additional constraint on staff if they're trying to get it out by Thursday, but I can certainly see additional time required to review it, and for the public as well. So I would agree with Mayor Campbell in that if we can make adjustments to what's delivered on the agenda and maybe shorten whatever it is, and some items can be put on a further, at a later date, can be presented at a later date, that may help alleviate it, and maybe we can do it on a trial basis. Let's do it for, through September, through October, and then, we'll reevaluate it. But it's just, I don't think it's a bad idea. I think certainly it'll give everybody a little bit more time.
And some items you can put on consent, too, without really watering down the agenda, because we always have the opportunity to move things from consent to action. So,
Absolutely.
And I agree. I think we should try it and see how it works and go from there.
And, going back to that a little bit, and I know before we'd be presented an agenda on Fridays, for example, and I remember years back when I would see it, it'd be really loaded, and there were so many items on consent, and I wanted more information on those items. That also gives us time as city council members to inquire with the city manager and ask. So I agree. If other items can be placed on consent that won't require too much discussion, I believe it's something that we should be able to work on. So
thank you.
My only caution would just be I do believe sometimes it's not a one-night affair getting these agendas out. I know, as a matter of fact, as soon as this meeting ends, the next agenda begins.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
And so I do think it's important. Let's not set them up for failure here as far as staff. So I think the endeavor, I'm okay with the endeavoring to get the agenda out as early as possible, being Thursday, for example. But if need be, I think most important is we're putting out a proper agenda with issues that do need to be addressed. And if that requires another day. I will say we are compressed as far as working days to address issues if we need to get with the city manager. So I agree an extra day is beneficial, no doubt.
I think it's beneficial, all the way around, because in as much as our city manager works, and you guys know, she's here day and night, every day. It doesn't matter if she's working on the agenda or not working on the agenda. She's a hard worker. So if we let her continue that, she might not be good to us anymore. She'd be so tired, and so we have to at least give her that. I know it's putting pressure, one day of pressure on them, but you also have to think of her help too. In the end, it's to help her out too.
I would ask Alma your opinion on the matter, and not to put undue pressure on you, but you're the one working on it with Rosanna. What's your opinion of the request?
Right now, the deadline for example, the July 15th meeting that's coming up, the agenda is due, the staff reports are due this Friday at 5 p.m. And then I give an itinerary agenda to her that we discuss at the staff meeting on Mondays when we get together for staff meeting. And sometimes somebody might add an item because they don't have everything Friday, like their backup or whatever. So. Mm-hmm. And then usually on Wednesdays is where we have Rosanna's calendar blocked from 1 to 4 to review the agenda. But there's just time that she's out in meetings. She just has, a lot of work to do that, she doesn't have the time to review the agenda on Wednesday, so she does it until Thursday.
And then what I have to say then, if there's something that's not presented on time like it should be to get the agenda out, unless it's really crucial, and then put it on the next agenda.
Right.
That way you don't hold up the agenda.
Yeah.
Because one of the problems you're going to run into is holding up agendas, waiting for items. You will see more emergency items, and you will see supplemental agendas, I think, because of the Thursday time frame. We saw it at the county. We see it at, I've seen it at IID. I see it at a lot of different places. I mean, it just tends to push that out. And then I think we have to be cognizant, don't ask them to add items in the middle of the week coming up on the Thursday deadline. Right. And if we do ask that, I think then we're asking a lot to have it done by Thursday morning, because I don't think you're going to receive it Thursday morning. I don't know if you're willing to receive it Thursday at 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, but that's probably what I think is going to happen. But I'm willing to go along with whatever the council wants.
Yes,
but,
yes.
Like Thursday is,
Just want to make sure
just like
everybody understands.
it's at the end of the day. It's not at the beginning.
Right.
Yeah, so that gives them
Just like we get them today, Friday evenings
Because I don't
at
think
night.
we're going to see them Thursday morning at 8. Because I don't think
No,
that's gonna
we're not
happen.
asking for that.
So I hope that that's
evenings.
what the council needs.
Would there, Mr. Mayor, are we looking for a motion that would set a new deadline?
I think basically what we need to do is give staff direction on when the agenda should be prepared and in the box for council.
It says potential action on there, so I think we need to.
Yeah, so we need to.
Based on Council Member Noriega's suggestion to have the agenda out on Thursdays, I would agree with the mayor and Council Member Noriega that it could potentially benefit the public and benefit council if it was delivered sooner, and maybe we can give it a trial run for a few months and just revisit it and see how staff is handling that, and with the intent that we don't want to complicate matters, we want to simplify them. So if the agenda is too loaded and there are items that can be moved forward, I would say that I'd make a motion to approve that request.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. And the motion is to have the agenda prepared and in the council members' boxes on Thursday evening, close of business day before the next Tuesday meeting.
That would be 5.
Or early Friday morning in case if we run into something.
Early Friday morning, that's fine.
And Mr. Mayor, and to be reviewed with some kind of review period.
Right.
90 days from now or something.
We can try that for a couple of months and then
with a
bring it
review
back and look at it. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, guys. Okay.
And Mr. Mayor, I would add, Alma, if you do find difficulty in that, and Rosanna does, if you could please let us know right away. Okay. And if it's an issue, then we can readdress it. But
right.
Yeah.
Because the main thing is like Councilmember Wharton said, you want to have an agenda that's got all the materials in it, so we can handle the people's business. And okay.
But we also have a time to read it too.
Yeah. The next item on the agenda is 4D, discussion direction regarding City of Brawley marketing incentive.
Initiative, right?
Initiative.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Mayor, if I could add a few items here. It's very broad, the marketing initiative, so we tried to include some of the items that we didn't address during the budget process, which were our contributions to the Chamber of Commerce, the Film Commission, IVDC, and then we had some other ideas with respect to marketing initiative with Spectrum, who we use for our filming here. And so I believe there was some backup material that was sent over in a separate email by the city manager, and that's addressing the efforts that we've discussed with Spectrum directly, and that's Councilmember Wharton, myself. But with respect to the Film Commission, IVDC, and the Brawley Chamber, my feeling is that if we would be able to support them in the same capacity that we have in the past, I think we'd be well served. We have met with the Brawley Chamber and discussed some other items that are potentially coming before you at a later date, and that would be like a customer service plan. We're trying to work on some plans to help improve customer service, delivery of service throughout the city, and I'm hoping that they can help us in that effort. With respect to Spectrum, we had discussed the features that would be it would be 12 features a year and at a cost of about $3,600. And let me get that exact figure for you. But that's one of the items. Another item would be an overhaul of our website by Spectrum. And lastly, and this is one that we can discuss, we also discussed expanding some of the features that we have on our website and expanding our marketing efforts to include social media. Many people are on social media, and it's not something we've actively engaged in. I know we've had a Twitter feed and a Facebook account in the past, but we haven't used it actively. My feeling, and Councilmember Wharton's going to speak up in just a second, but my feeling is that we haven't engaged the public in the things that we've accomplished within the city. There's a lot of things, even as much as the item with respect to the business loan that we just approved. You know, people need to understand and know that we're working on these things, and these are potential items that they're going to be seeing in the near future.
And to add to that, I just got a phone call this evening about why aren't the businesses who, the older businesses aren't being told that if they rent out their business, that now they're going to have water meters put in. That's something that they would like to have known ahead of time,
right?
Because it's going to cost them quite a bit, and they're putting out, I think, 2 or 3 different buildings that now they're going to have to, and it's thousands of dollars, they say.
I think that's an excellent point. There's so many little things that we don't address on a daily basis, and I think that helps our customer service delivery, and it's the delivery of the message. And I've said this so many times before. It's how you tell people that they have to do something, and if they don't know of it in advance. It comes to them as a surprise, and that's never good for anybody. So there's some proposals before you. I do believe that we should continue with the funding for the Film Commission, IBDC, Chamber, as we have in the past. And I would ask you to consider these new marketing initiatives by Spectrum. I think they've been a great partner, and the work that they've done for us has been fantastic. And I'm excited about the possibilities here before us. So.
We've talked about some of these things, George, and you're exactly right, and all of us have, and it's about us helping staff sell the city of Brawley, what we have to offer, the things that's required to operate and provide a good service. And I think with some of these things that we've talking about, it helps sell the city. We have to sell ourselves. People just don't show up on the doorstep. I mean, a lot of times people need help and information on how to navigate and get businesses done. And George, I appreciate your extra effort and Donnie's extra effort dealing with some of these issues too. And I'm looking forward to what you guys got in store.
Mr. Mayor, I think also for the rest of my fellow council members, I think we referenced one of the backup material quotes. We have a package we're looking at that includes most of what Mayor Pro Tem Nava was talking about. I think the total package falls under actually $10,000, pretty close to about $9,450 to be exact. But that would include some of the things we looked at of what can we do to create a little bit more of a social media presence. And really, frankly, if you don't do it professionally, it just will not get done right. And at the end of the day, it's not even the creating the presence. We have that. It's what you do to maintain it and really drive it. And I share some of this. And the reason I got somewhat involved, I like this kind of stuff because I do it in my professional life. I'm involved in public relations and marketing and social media communications and whatnot. All I can share with you is that we have a phenomenal city that needs to be, that message needs to get out. I think this is the beginning. If we start with these small successes in the coming years, we can build on it. And the idea is, as we're looking at, for example, a revitalization of Main Street, if we don't get the word out, investors won't know that we have a great opportunity here. And I think some of this we learned through the retail convention that we recently went to, but also a lot of it was also learned through our efforts with National Beef, of what we just went through, which through the ad hoc committee, we really realized by getting some focus, some positive focus on our town, we can really get a lot of mileage. So I would like to, if I could, make a recommendation that we potentially take a kind of an introductory action and consider the $9,450 package, which would include, I believe, the videos, if I'm looking at this correctly.
It has some videos, which are the shorter-based videos, but a good way that could be featured. For example, look at the units we just approved. Right. People don't know we've done that, and they probably won't unless they watch the full, meeting, right? Mm-hmm. But that's a great way to get the message out, even whether it's through a Twitter feed or through Facebook or a small video vignette. It's a great way for people to know what's happening, and that the money's being spent on their facilities and it's being used. But I believe, to go back to what you're saying, Councilmember Wharton, the package that you're referring to does include some shorter videos that I think are like 30 seconds long. The other package is $3,600, I believe, and that's the 12 longer features throughout the year. And so
is that in addition? I mean, just for this, our discussion.
Taking his head out there.
Absolutely.
You can come up there and explain it. No.
You're welcome.
Hi, good evening. Fernando Zavala, Spectrum Advertising. Thank you so much for first of all, considering to continue to partnership with the city of Brawley. And yes, we're talking about 3 different packages, one of them being obviously the website, revamping your new website. And I'm talking about from all the way from the design all the way to the content to it. You're talking about the community spectrum aspect of it too, which is $3,600. And that's 12 stories that can go out throughout the year. And it's a little longer. And this is where we go and we do videotaping and different events, highlight what the city of Brawley is doing to opening up the businesses, events that you have, such as cattle call and whatnot. The other package
to interrupt, I'm sorry. We saw one. I asked for a sample of the work, and they were generous enough to provide us one when we did the one for the mega event,
right.
and they did that. So it would be in
that quality.
That like
nice.
Right, that quality.
So that's what the 12 are about?
Right.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
I thought it was the 12 here.
No.
Okay.
No. 12
It's
out in the
outside.
community. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other part will be the 30 seconds to 60 seconds, kind of like at the tip of the day, with the city of Brawley, how to fill up a form to get apply for a license, things like that will keep your social media, Twitter going, and those same videos can be interacted on your website, on your mobile devices. So now you have interaction with your business cards, which is your website, but also on your social media account with the younger generation. So you have a lot of activity going on, and that will be on a weekly basis that we would update this information, whether it is post as the tip of the day, things that we would handle on our end that we can alleviate some staff time, and they don't have to do it. Obviously, the coordination would be between both of us, but we would do the work, and we would give you a report as far as how many clicks those videos are having on the community spectrum and also on the social media aspect. So that'll give you some information as far as how many people are viewing this, the demographics, which is something that I think that you're looking for.
Yes.
And Mr. Zavala, obviously with Ivy Press, Desert Review, Hopeville Tribune here, there's interface there with just our existing, our more traditional media outlets as well, because these things are YouTube and they can go multiple directions.
Exactly, and the media partners you just mentioned, they're great partners. I mean, we do business with them, so I mean, all those videos that we produce, they would have access to that too as well. So it's just getting it out there. Nowadays people want to be told. They want to see the story, and the city of Brawley has many beautiful things happening. Yes,
absolutely.
Exactly.
Say, feed me.
Yes,
That's what
yes,
it is.
yes.
Mm-hmm. Let us know what's going on and what we have to do to make our businesses better, too.
And I think, for the past several years, we've been very conservative in our spending and not trying to spend, and we've curtailed what we're doing. But really, right now is the time to ramp things up. If we don't make a movement right now to do something, we're going to wait another 12 months and be in the same spot.
Absolutely.
And so we have a business that, we just loaned $60,000 to that will hopefully be open in the next several months. And feature things like that. And even something as simple in a different segment, like the improvements we just approved for the Line Center. Yeah. Just things that people need to know and see. And so I think that's important, other than just spending the money and assuming that everybody knows, because they don't.
Yeah. Addressing the graffiti issue, that's another thing that we did not too long ago.
That's right.
Getting the exposure out there. So
Absolutely.
They're very useful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Mayor, considering that it's sort of a broad item here, the marking initiative, I would make a motion to approve the funding of the Chamber of Commerce and the Film Commission, IVDC at the previous levels to continue that effort, and to include the Spectrum package that has been presented to us, including the video vignettes with the Twitter and the website redesign and the what am I missing there? The community spectrum.
Community spectrum.
So that would be it's a long motion, but
there's a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to fund the Chamber, the Film Commission, and IVDC at the previous amounts that we've done as far as last year, and then the Spectrum package that we've discussed here this evening.
Dennis has something, but I have a question.
I gather that there isn't any backup to this, and I don't know that this agenda description would encompass all of those things. My recommendation would be that you put on
a
coming agenda.
The Film Commission
With an agenda description that would articulate each of those.
This
items.
one separately, okay. But we do have backup material for the Spectrum one, so.
What I'm talking about as far as backup is part of the agenda packet.
Okay.
So that if
It's
a member
not
of the
there
public
as
were
part
to
of
look
the
at this
agenda
agenda,
package.
they would see this agenda item.
Dennis, what about most of the, maybe if we reapproach the motion, but I believe in our budget workshops, we passed actually those contributions to those existing organizations. So
Yes,
I don't know if that's already been ratified or if we can do that now, because that's been discussed and presented, correct?
Yeah, the contributions to those three organizations are a part of our, well, I don't know if we passed them as a part of our budget. I thought we passed them as a part of our budget. So I think they're already in the budget.
Right.
The other 9,000 or whatever that we were talking about maybe is something that we need to have for the public to look at before we pass that. And I don't have any problem with passing it. I think maybe they just need to look at it. That's the question I was going to ask Dennis. The other question that I had, do we need to bid on any of that? I don't think it's enough money where we have to do that.
think so.
I think we can go ahead and go with, who's doing our normal media type stuff. So I think that's okay. I think the other three we could probably vote on, but I think the other thing, I think you're right, there's nothing in the agenda package that outlines all that new stuff.
Well, what we can.
Excuse me. The thing is, though, it says discussion and direction. It doesn't say anything about action.
Oh,
that's another thing.
Well, then we can direct city staff. I think we've already approved the amounts, have we not? Yeah.
Yes.
My recollection with your budget is that you obviously you approve a budget, and those budget will have certain sorts of expenditures. Right. And it seems to me that even with budgeted items, certain items come back to you once before staff actually spends that money.
Okay.
I don't recall what sort of amount you're talking about, but as a practice, I would say that if you have an approved budget item that falls within the city manager's limit, for example, that might be something that doesn't have to come back to you. But if you even a budgeted item, typically like in a big amount, Public Works, for example, might have budgeted a major capital expenditure.
Let's just put it on the next. Why don't we bring it back to the next agenda and we solve all of it.
I think we can give the city manager direction because it is already a budgeted item, right?
Right.
So direction.
So what we can.
So Dennis.
Yeah. Well, with respect to the budgeted items that fall within her spending authority, I would say that you really don't need an action.
Just direction?
Right.
Well, my direction, Mr. Mayor, then taking back my previous motion, my direction...
I'll take back my second.
...would be to authorize the city manager to move forward with the contributions as we've stated here today. So.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Well, it's not even a motion.
No motion.
No motion? Just direction?
Just direction.
Okay. So...
I'm sorry, Mayor. Direction for move forward on what contribution? The chamber,
IVC,
Film
and the Film Commission.
And moving forward with Spectrum as well.
The only other thing that occurs to me with respect to the contributions that you mentioned to chamber and so forth is that I believe we have contracts with those folks.
Yes, with the chamber we certainly
do.
And Spectrum?
No.
Yeah. Let's do this. Let's just, we've talked about it. We're in agreement. Let's just put it on the next agenda. Put it on the agenda as an action item. Bring it back and approve it. And
we'll do that.
We're going to have a meeting. The next meeting is scheduled for the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and we will.
So let's just do that. Let's put it on the next agenda for an action item on all the items that we discussed.
That we listed, right?
Yeah,
that'll work.
Was that 15? Were we going to change it? Was that the date we were going to change it?
The one for September.
Yeah.
Okay.
September's when
Yeah.
we'll change it.
So we're going to meet again July the 15th. So we'll put it on there as action. And
I'm agreeable with that.
I appreciate the support. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to the next item is departmental reports. Mrs. Benias.
Honorable Mayor, Council Members, Shirley Benias, Personnel and Risk Management. On page 74 of your agenda packets is the staffing report as it stood on June 19th. We've had a few little business things happen since then. Testing has concluded on the firefighters. We have a sizable, great batch going forward to the orals. And as soon as our fire chief is no longer the city manager, we can move on that. Our 2 parks maintenance worker recruitment and 1 lead worker has closed, and the interviews are scheduled for next week. We do have an officer swearing in on July 22nd. and I always get his name wrong, so I'm not even going to try to butcher that. And then, of course, the Duke is retiring also in the month of July. The lab analyst is finally moving somewhere. Teamsters it's under review with Teamsters. It is a Teamster position. The way we are going to approach it, we are asking for a grade 2. Unfortunately, we can't seem to have any applicants with that certification, but we do have a grade 1. And so our proposal to Teamsters was to hire the grade 1 with a caveat that they must obtain a grade 2 within 2 years. Teamsters said they would be able to get back to me tomorrow morning on that. So we'll be able to move on that. Chief Water Treatment Plant Operator has also moved forward. We have July 16th for interviews on that position. Moving down to the temporaries, as you can see, we're getting real busy in Parks Department with a lot of seasonal workers. There is one less Public Works temporary worker, the Streets and Utility temporary worker with the end of the fiscal year no longer is employed. So as of today, there's only one temporary worker. He was in pre-treatment. He has a wastewater certification and was moved over to the wastewater OIT. So we've been busy.
Any questions from council? Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Okay. The next item is information reports, and I think it was in the packet. City council member reports, and I'll start with Mrs. Noriega.
I was invited to go to Calexico to the Chamber of Commerce dinner that they had for the installation of new officers, and it was a lot of, Calexico, it's never a dull moment there. It was a packed house, and lots of things going on. Mr. David Canes was there, and he was probably the hostess, bringing everybody from the entrance of the door over to sit you down. They had steaks for us and music, mariachis, so it was really nice to get invited to go to that dinner. I was trying to think if anything else we had on the books. I think it was more of a quieter week like this week, so that's about it, and hopefully everybody have a great summer. And yes, and then I went to, I went to the supervisors.
It's a big check there, Helen.
Yes.
Take a picture.
Went to the supervisors, and we took a picture along with Marge and Marjo, and this is how much money she collected.
Wow.
So we're very proud to say that she stood up, and they asked her what she was going to do with the money, and you want to tell us what?
I'm going to spend it.
There we go. That's good.
No, it's for the Lambs Project, and what it will do is cover our basic costs to go to Winter Haven 7 times a year, and then also give them some supplemental items that they can use. We've got books for them, for their parents to take home, some workbooks for the kids and things like that. But it covers the fuel to go over and the cost of the books that we give away for them for the whole year. So in addition to our wonderful Prop 10 funds, it just really helps keep that program going well.
Fantastic.
Great.
So the
I want to
people,
thank her for going. So.
yeah, and it was really, everybody clapped, and we're happy to hear that we're going all the way to, Brawley's going all the way to Winter Haven to use some of this money over there, most of the money.
That's very nice.
Indian gaming, yeah.
Thank you, Marjo.
Very nice.
And that's about it.
Thank you, Marjo.
Thank you.
Mr. Wharton.
Literally big money. It's fantastic, yeah. Making it quick here, I had one real busy day where I was able to attend the Airport Commission meeting and the library meeting, however brief. Enjoyed going, certainly. With Airport, I do want to report out one thing. We have some significant investments being made out there. So, again, for Public Works, Yasmin, your department, fantastic work. I've been really bragging about the aerial photos, as I get an opportunity to fly over. But everyone knows, for me, being a little bit near and dear. But I do want to point out an item that came up. We did not have a quorum at the airport meeting, but we will be discussing in a little more detail and hopefully bring it up in a future council meeting meeting about the FBO situation out there with the airport manager. And not saying it's a negative situation, it's just sustainability. Been a tough time kind of meeting the provisions of the agreement that we have in place. So what I ask for is on the work on the part of some of our commission members and hopefully Public Works that we're going to dive into that a little deeper and see what we can do to make sure we can maintain a suitable business there, because it's really going to be a fantastic airport when we get finished with all these projects. So I just want to kind of make a note of that. Other than that, we did have an ad hoc meeting that evening with Supervisor Kelly and Supervisor Castillo, and we did have industry representatives there. And I would like to share those discussions were definitely productive. The national beef issue as it comes up, and I am asked from time to time, I'm sure we all are, by no stretch of the imagination is a cold issue. It's still very much a hot issue. We are looking to move forward potentially with ongoing discussions with inquiries that are coming in. And I wish I could be more specific, but I want to be very careful because these are private parties that are making these inquiries. But those discussions were had, and unless I missed something there, maybe Mayor Pro Tem Nava can hit on that. Other than that, I got a little early 4th of July and went up to Salton City. Some of that I'd like to say is work-related, but it really wasn't. So fireworks were already going off, so it got me pretty excited about I will be out this Friday at Freedom Fest. So it's a Great Valley event, so I plan to be there. But I hope everybody and their families, our staff, and our city have a safe and not only enjoyable 4th of July. I hope you keep our fire department nice and tuckered out quietly in the fire station. So.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ward.
Well, I drove around to look at the fireworks sales booths. They look pretty good, and everything looks like it's moving smoothly there, and hopefully that'll be an uneventful 4th of July, and everybody will have a good time.
Sam, it looks hot to me.
Yeah, it does. It looks very hot working those things, though. But that tends to be what happens, and that's why a lot of people don't necessarily volunteer to do that. But it's all for a good cause, and hopefully that'll work out, and everything will be fine. And I think people make money. They'll make money for the city of Brawley for various causes within the city of Brawley, and I think that's important that we continue that. Also, I'm now president of the Brawley Rotary, so my first meeting will be tomorrow as the incoming president for this year. And hopefully what I'd like to do is talk to the city of Brawley about how the Rotary can partner with the city of Brawley on doing a project or several projects or help with some of the things that we're talking about in the downtown area. So we'll be talking about that as we move forward.
Will you fine us if we don't go to your meeting?
Absolutely. Are you a member? No way. You have to be a member to be fined.
Right.
Yeah, you have to be a member. But certainly that'll be a challenge for me, trying to do everything else that I do and also be the president of that organization. So, and I'm looking forward to that, and that's really all I have to report today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Nava.
I just want to thank staff and everybody. I know it's hot outside, and it's a little bit miserable being out there sometimes, so it's not real fun. But let's keep on moving forward, right? Attended the Film Commission. We had a meeting and discussing the fact that the Film Commission is having its fourth annual film festival and arts festival, and it's being moved from the theater location to SDSU in Calexico. And SDSU is a beautiful theater, and so hopefully the films will be featured there. And they also have a location for an art exhibit, so I think it's a beautiful location for it. It's going to be and they're having some pros come down here and give some courses this year, which is something different. They've added to that this year, so I think it's going to be pretty exciting for the filmmakers that are here locally. You'd be surprised at the quality of the work and the quality of the submissions. They're very, very, very professional. I mean, nowadays with software and some high-resolution cameras, you can make some pretty good films. And so they've done a lot of good work. Also had an ICTC meeting this past week. Met with the ad hoc committee with respect to the national beef closure, and as Councilmember Wharton has stated, it's not by any means a closed issue. It's not a dead issue. It's actively being discussed. I think we'll likely see a couple of months at least of closure before real activity starts to move on it, but those inquiries are coming in and the discussion's ongoing, so hopefully we are able to provide some more positive news in the near future. One item that I would like to bring up before council is is the deposit requirement for owner-occupied properties at the water department. I would like to revisit that issue. We can have it on for discussion on our next agenda. I would appreciate it. And it's just looking at our policy. In other cities, when you own a property and you're opening up a water account, a deposit is not required. We require one here in the city. So I would like to revisit that issue. And the reason I want to bring it up is because it goes back to customer service friendly environment. When somebody's moving into a new house and they own it, and they're having to put a deposit of, I think it's $200. $200? It's a $200 deposit. It's just money out of their pocket that they can be using for their move. And you know what? The other thing I think it signals too is that we're fearful that they're going to be, leaving us. And so I think we need to make sure that we look at that carefully. Currently, I think it's after 12 months their deposits return if they've been paying on time. But I would like to revisit the issue. It was brought to me by a community member, and I've had to deal with that in the past as well. So I would like to revisit that item for your consideration and see if there's anything we can do for that. It still applies to people that are renting and to people that are going to be moving into a property that they don't own, and I don't suggest changing that. But certainly when somebody is made the investment of purchasing a home and they're going to be living here, I think at the very least we can welcome that and improve the service by at least not having an additional charge. One comment I heard was in comparison to another city in the valley, they said, well, we got a welcome packet, we got this, we got that. And one Brawley member said, well, all I got was a bill. So that's really not the impression that I want to leave. So anyway, that's just food for thought.
Thank you, Mr. Nava. I really don't have anything to report. I just want to thank staff, and I thank all the kids that graduated and moving on these last couple of weeks, even the kindergartners. There was a bunch of those that graduated that's going to first grade. So, yeah, all the ceremonies was really nice, and to see the kids so happy, and the kids in high school and college that's moving on to their futures is really nice. And I just ask that God continue to bless you guys and your families, and thank you for coming out and participating in our meeting this evening. Thank you. Okay, the next item is the acting city manager's report.
No, just to backtrack, Mayor, I just want for clarification, the fund that for the emergency ACs that were purchased is not coming out of a reserve, and it's a part of a maintenance fund, and I don't believe it's tied to the general budget. I'm looking at my assistant finance. So the money is there, and it's specifically for purposes like this, so it's not coming into the reserves or dipping into the general budget. So.
Thank you very much.
Good to know.
Yes. Okay, the treasurer's report?
Nothing.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. City attorney's report?
Nothing to report.
Okay. City clerk? Okay. Okay, we're going to go into closed session, and again, thank you guys for coming out this
Thank you,
evening.
everyone.
Thank you for coming so spiffy.